It's so easy to feel bad or upset, but it's just as easy to just feel good. Nostalgia and the B-sides of philosophy. Welcome to the DC CyberSec podcast. Today we are covering a lot of different topics on my philosophies on flipping over to the B-side when basically bad stuff happens, as well as keeping a good mental health status through nostalgia. If you're in the same sort of age bracket as me, and I'm 37 for anyone wondering, then you'll definitely have some good memories of when you were a kid and the different things that you did, the kind of music that you listened to during that time period. For me, a lot of that music is from the sort of mid to late 90s as well as the early to mid 2000s. You know, when I was in school and going through all of primary school and then high school, it was all 90s and early 2000s. And these are sort of the best times, the ones that you remember when you're around my age of things that you really enjoyed during that time. Listening to Blink-182, listening to Three Doors Down, Sum 41, Metallica songs from back then. And then after that, sort of the mid to later 2000s, I guess, around 2005 to 2010-ish, having all of those different clubbing songs that I used to enjoy, like Eric Prydz or Prides or however you say his name, Armin van Buuren, Tiesto, all of that. Just absolute banger songs. The really good songs of that period that bring back memories of when I was, going clubbing with my friends and we're having a great time and on the dance floor, having a drink, doing whatever it was we were doing at that time and just really enjoying ourselves. And the memory and the feeling of those memories is really what sticks and is such a good thing to go back to. Now, these sort of two topics that I'm talking about today, the nostalgia through music and nostalgia in general, as well as the B-side flip of philosophy, do sort of go hand in hand. And I'll get to that through this story. Sometimes in life, you have bad situations, and that is just life. And being able to deal with those bad times and to make a good change out of something that is potentially not the greatest situation in the world is something that I really do pride myself in. A lot of people say to me that it's, you just put the blinders on, or you seem to have a really thick skin, or whatever it is. There's always comments that people make about how I deal with different types of situations. And the truth of the matter here is that it's so easy to feel bad or upset, but it's just as easy to just feel good. Now, I know this doesn't apply to everyone, especially if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, then obviously these things just won't make sense to you, which is fine. That's not what this is about. This is about if a bad situation happens and to sort of help yourself from getting down. The other day I was talking with one of my friends over here. He has a business where he rents out different devices to people. I won't get into the business because he may, in fact, be watching this podcast. And I don't want to dox the dude. That would be unfair. But he's constantly telling me every time I see him, and I see him like once a week or once every 2 weeks. Every time I see him, he's talking about how this bad thing has happened in business, or this bad thing, or this moment, whatever it is. And these situations really get him down. He seems to be always quite upset about these various things going on in his life. And, he's always asking like, how are you so positive? How do you stay positive in these situations? And I have a good example that I would like to give to you guys today. So something that happened in my life recently is one of the people that I mentored to start a cybersecurity freelancing business. They decided that the freelancing thing isn't actually for them, which is fine. It's not for everyone. But what they did instead was to copy my own business model on the mentorship of helping people to get started as cybersecurity freelancers, which is ironic because they are not themselves a cybersecurity freelancer or have had any success in this. And I'm not going to name names because it doesn't worry me. They can go and do whatever they like. My initial reaction to this was like, oh man, here we go again. Someone trying to copy me. Someone trying to steal my own idea. And I thought, it's actually not so bad of a thing. It's good to have a bit of competition, right? But the actions that I took after this, after sort of coming to this realization that, and this might be a very stoic mindset, but the realization is that there's nothing I can do about that. And if there's nothing I can do about it, then why should I get worried about this type of situation? If there's nothing I can change, then what's the point of getting upset? What's the reason that I am upset? Is it just for nothing? Like, am I just wasting my own energy on being upset? So I sort of flipped it on the other side, and I thought, that's fine. Competition creates some good challenges here, and what I'm going to do is increase what I do by giving back more to the people who pay for mentorship on starting their cybersecurity freelancing business. So instead of matching my price to meet theirs, which it's actually about 22 times more expensive than my program. But anyway, beside the point. What I did was I kept my prices nice and low because I think that's a reasonable price to pay. That's what I would pay if I was looking for a similar service. But also increased what that member gets as a benefit on my platform as opposed to someone else's. So I made another course that's in there. It's just included in the membership. I increase the hours when you can book in a time to have a chat with me to go through the different motions of starting your freelancing business and sort of expanded out my service offering to give back more. And this made me very happy. This was something that it's sort of like, I was like, this is the right thing to do. And you know, when you get those feelings and you're like, it's like an intuition, you're like, I should really just follow my heart here and do what my soul is telling me to do. And that's exactly what I did. And that's often what I do in most situations is follow my intuition, follow that voice in my head saying, just try this or just do this. And then you don't have to worry about the bad situation because you've done what you can do to improve what you're working on. And you don't have to worry about what everyone else is trying to do, or if they're trying to compete with you. You don't really have to think about that. You can put it out of your head and just keep going with what you're doing and focus on yourself. Focusing on you is the biggest life hack ever. And if you take it with a stoic mindset as well of, you know, if there's nothing I can do about this, then there's no point worrying about it. It's quite powerful, I find. Now, how this relates to the nostalgic pieces is while I was down, I threw on a whole bunch of random songs from the early 2000s. Lots of, you know, like Fat Lip by Sum 41 and some even older music from Metallica, like For Whom the Bell Tolls, and just some rock music like that, something to get a bit of anger out. I went back to the gym. I started making more of these videos. I've improved myself and I've focused on myself instead of thinking outside of what I should be thinking of, to just put the blinders on and get the work done, and to then focus on the positivity of a bad situation. Like I said at the very start of this video, bad situations are going to come and go throughout life. There's personal life bad situations, there's work life bad situations, there's business bad situations all the time. You're going to come across good and bad things all the time, and that is just the waves of life that you need to kind of ride. But don't let it get you down when something bad happens. Focus on yourself. Turn off all of the noise and make some noise of your own. Listen to something noisy, something that really connects with you and who you are and makes you feel good. That kind of music that makes you remember the kind of person you are and where you've come from. And oftentimes it's good to think back of where you have come from to where you have gotten to now. For example, I lived the majority of my life in Brisbane in Australia. When I was a kid, it was a small city. It's not a big place. It's still not the biggest place. If you walk around the city for long enough, you'll probably meet someone you know. To then working and working towards this lifestyle that I've got now, where I'm working overseas, doing my own thing, my own business, working towards these different situations that I'm in, and, you know, just reaching these goals day by day. And when I go back to Australia now, I feel like the champion of Brisbane, to be honest. Like, I go back to Brisbane, I'm like, hey, I'm back. I'm here to have fun. I'm this is what I've been doing, and I've got all these stories. And I think having stories as a man, or anyone really, to be able to tell to other people about what you've done and where you've been, they don't care about the journey of you getting there until you've actually done it. And then the story actually makes sense. But while you're in the journey to get to somewhere or something that you're trying to achieve, no one cares about you. And that's perfectly fine. They don't need to. They're the main character of their own lives, and they don't need to focus on the things you're doing because they're in their own battles. They've got their own shit going on, And really, no one has to care about you or the things you're doing. No one has to give a shit about that. Only you need to care about the things that you're doing, the things that you're working on. And hopefully the thing you're working on is yourself. So then when you go back to your old life, the old situation that you were in before going into this period of time that you're in now, that's a story worth telling. And that's a really good feeling to have when you're in those situations and you're like, this is what I've done, this is what I've achieved, and people sort of get on board with that. And it's engaging and it's contagious, that kind of energy. I think a lot of people call it an aura now, like Aura 1000 or whatever, I don't know. But this aura is really something that surrounds you. And I would just call it an energy. It's your own energy from your success and your positivity. And positivity is contagious. Like, when you go and hang out with one of those kind of people that you just feel like so comfortable and like happy to be around. They talk so much random shit and you're just so on board with it and you have so much fun. There's a guy I used to work with and then started a business with years ago who almost definitely doesn't watch these videos because he now runs a pub somewhere in Bali. Legend. But every time I hang out with this guy, it's just the best experience. It's so much fun to hang out with this guy and just talk absolute crap and have some drinks and get some wings or something, just like the most boring tasks ever, but it's really fun with this guy. It's like a recharge of your social battery and life battery to talk with people like this, and I love that kind of conversation. That's the really good stuff. And I mean, his own story is pretty cool as well. Like I like his story, I like what he's done, and I never really asked him about how he was feeling while he was working on his things, because again, it didn't affect me. It had nothing to do with me. But now that he's achieved those things and he's living that life, then now this story that he has is something that really sits with me quite well and is something that I'm really happy to listen to and talk about with him, because it's just fun. It's good energy. So when you then go back to where you've come from, and you think about that music that you listened to when you were a kid and the journey from that point up into where you are now. If it's, not you traveling, if it's not this or that or whatever, I'm sure there's something that has happened between then and now to get you to a point to where you are now that is actually an improvement on where you were previously. Does that make sense? That was a really roundabout way of saying it. But it's good and it makes you feel good. And this is my philosophy, the philosophy of the B-side switch in a bad situation where, you get through all of these bad situations that you have by working on the various things that you're doing and focusing on yourself. Then getting to the point of success, which is either a grand success or a small success. It doesn't matter. It's still a success. Then you've got there and you've got this in your pocket and you're like, I feel fantastic. Look at what I have done. Anyway, major long spiel there about philosophy, nostalgia, going places, goals and happiness, and flipping the switch on positivity. I hope this video has been somewhat insightful for you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.